Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review, this time of the new Taylor Swift album entitled The Tortured Poets Department. And before I get to this review, I do want to remind you all that the fundraiser continues. For those of you unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as it's viewed as a quote luxury item end quote, despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever and unable to use any other type of scooter, motorized wheelchair, or any other standard wheelchair, only having the use of one hand and limited at that. So with all that stated, I do have a spot fund account linked below in two places, directly below the title in this description video, and in a separate section below that. Any and all help is welcome. I am striving to maintain my independence because as I pride myself on my independence, and although I do rely on individuals for some things in my life, I want to seriously maintain my quality of life and my level of independence as it currently stands. I don't want to digress, and I don't want to be in a situation where I am dependent upon people 24/7 for every little need of mine. So, my scooter is essential to my independence. It is really what allows me to live my life the way I live it. So any and all help is welcome. Please do what you can at the spot fund link below, and it is greatly appreciated. I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, especially some recent contributions that have come in that were extremely generous. Thank you so much. You guys are wonderful. And I also want to say that I am still far from reaching the target goal. So believe me, any and all help once again is welcome. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you all. And on with this review. So we have a new Taylor Swift album, The Tortured Poets Department. And I just found out about this yesterday, as I believe it was released yesterday, along with basically the whole album on YouTube as far as lyric videos are concerned. And we also have a video for um, one of the tracks itself featuring Post Malone. However, I will do a separate reaction to that video when I have a chance. I have my cat in the frame at the moment. Say hi. Say hi. Hey, Fox. Hey, Fox. My cat Fox liked the Taylor Swift album, just for the record. Okay, get that. So, this new album is really quite impressive. Uh, I want to say a lot about this. I want to say my comments though until after I go through the track listing, as I feel that it'll make more sense in context once I actually go through the actual track listing, as far as what the songs are and my thoughts on them individually and cohesively in terms of the album itself. So we have track one, which is entitled Fortnite, featuring Post Malone. Now, I just want to say something a little bit about this song because I didn't even realize that Post Malone was on this when I listened to the album itself. And it really sounds great. I'm not a big fan of Post Malone. I'll make that abundantly clear here. The way his vocals are mixed, however, they are more of a background backing vocals, but they're also sort of a textural element to the song itself, in my opinion. Also, they are layered tremendously, so he does sound somewhat um, tolerable for my ears, at least. Like I said, I never was a fan of his. I feel that the abundance of auto tune on his voice gets to be nauseous after a while, and I but I think in this song, he really does a good job, and I think that's more speaking to Taylor Swift in terms of her album itself and how it's mixed and how it's written. As his performance is subdued. She's in the front. He is way in the background, and although his vocals do add a bit to the track itself, Taylor's vocals and lyrics are what really make this song important and really an essential part of the album itself. And there is a cat not helping here. Get down, boy. So that was track one. I'm not going to go on in detail about each track like that, but I just want to highlight a few of these. So that is track one, and I do have it playing in the background. I'll also be doing a reaction to this video itself, as they did shoot a professional video for this track itself. So, but lyrically, it is really brilliant and beautiful, and really just quite poetic, to say the least. So, I'm going to scroll down here to track 2, which is the title track, and that is the Tortured Poets Department, and it is a very, very good song. Lyrically, musically, it's got a lot to offer. Taylor's vocals on this entire album are really crisp. There is very little to no effects on her vocals, which is a breath of fresh air, to say the least. And there's a lot of vintage sort of drum machines and synth on this album. It's a very retro sounding album as a whole, but I really like this song a lot. I feel like it really has a good vibe to it, a good feeling to it, and lyrically it really hits hard. And it's a great title track. Track 3 is my boy only breaks his favorite toys. And this is a song that really has another, like I said, the whole album is very poetic, but this one especially has a really poetic feel to it. And it really works well in the context of the album itself, and it adds a lot to the overall ambiance. Track 4 is entitled Down Bad, and it is a good song. There aren't any bad songs on this album, but it has a really, the first 4 songs on this album have a really slower tempo in comparison to what I think a lot of people were maybe anticipating. But with that stated, they're all great songs, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. Track 5 is So Long London, and this is really where the tempo of the album picks up quite a bit. Um, and I think that the album kind of kicks in, or at least starts to kick in at this point. Now, there are quite a few songs on this album, so it does take its time, but it does a good job in doing so. I'm not complaining at all. Track 6 is But Daddy, I Love Him, which is probably my favorite song on this album. And it really stands out musically. It's got a lot of diversity in terms of the dynamic range of the instrumentation, and the mix overall really sounds great. The vocals sound great. The lyrics come through perfectly, and they really hit hard. And I do love the drum sound on that song as well. So we move on from that to track 7, which is, let's see here, the little cheat sheet on the side. It is entitled Fresh Out Fresh Out the Slammer, and this is an unexpected song for me, and I really like the way it's presented lyrically. I mean, all these songs are really well written, and I know Taylor Swift has a good hand in her writing and always has, but this song is just really brilliant. Um, and it, and the very and here's the interesting thing. Also, this song and this album itself is has really a diverse range in terms of the songs and the overall aesthetic of the album itself. It doesn't just stick to one topic, but it also doesn't deviate too far from seriousness. There's really very little as far as like just fun songs for the sake of fun songs. This is a serious album, and I really appreciate that. Uh, so let's see. Track 8. My apologies for rambling. I'm really excited about this album. Track 8 is Florida. And Florida is another reasonably upbeat track. Um, and lyrically, though, it's rather, I don't want to say rather dark, but it is on the uh, darker side, and it is a duet as well, but it works very well, and I have to say, uh, Florence and the Machine add a lot to Florida itself as a track, but don't be mistaken by the upbeat nature of a lot of these songs. They are really serious lyrically and delivered very serious lyrically. Um, Let me see here. Track 9 is Guilty as Sin. This song is spectacular. Love the lyrics, love the delivery. It's just so passionate, and I love it. Track 10 is amazing. And track 10 is titled Who Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? And this is just another another really kicking song. It has a lot of, I don't want to say angst, but emotion and meaningful emotion. Track 10, I really was impressed by, and I was honestly a little bit taken back, uh, but once I got to the end of it, track 11, uh, track 11 rather, and that is, I can fix him, and in parentheses, no, I really can't. And it really just, it's interesting because it's from a first person perspective, um, as a lot of these are, but it is really sort of that lie that we tell ourselves when it comes to significant others much of the time, that when we're in a bad situation, we may not see it for what it is, and we may not see it the way other people see it. And other people don't really know the situation for what it is, yet is it worth all the hassle, all the trouble, and all the anguish that it causes us? And that's really what I got out of that song. I really love it. Track 12 is entitled Loom, and it is another great song. And, or, I'm sorry, it's titled Lomo. I can't talk to you. Sorry. Um, Track 13 is I Can't Do It With a Broken Heart, which is a great song, a really great song, in fact. And it, like I said, there aren't any bad songs on this album, but it really just is a testament to just how amazing this album really is. And it wasn't shocking to me because I knew that Taylor Swift would put out something great after her Era tour, and this is definitely an album that is worth the wait, for those of us who were waiting, like myself. Um, Track 14 is um, amusing but also really true, and it's the smallest man who ever lived, and it's really a accurate song to some men who think they are rather, how can I say this? They think that they're rather impressive and well spoken, and well, not even well spoken, but they think that they're impressive when they are really not impressive at all. They are laughable, and they don't see it whatsoever. They only see themselves as the opposite. But we all see them for what they are, and that's what I got out of that song. Track 15 is entitled The Alchemy, and this is a really well done track as well. It really has a lot to offer musically, lyrically, vocally. Taylor is in top form on this album, and it's not that she ever wasn't before, but I feel like this is really an ambitious album. And I'll get to more of that after I go through these tracks, because we're at the last track I was able to listen to, which is entitled Clairbow, track 16. And it's just a beautiful song. Beautiful. And I was really, really taken by it. Now, track 17, which is a bonus track, I guess it's only available on the CD itself, and it is titled, let me see here. It's entitled Manuscript, and it may be available on YouTube as an actual lyric video. If it is, I will do a reaction to it, as I was unable to listen to it on Spotify. So let me minimize my cheat sheet here. That way I don't look quite like a vampire. So this album itself is really, like I said, it's ambitious. It is poetic. It is edgy without being too over the top. And it really shows off Taylor's vocals without, or with, I should say, with very little to no vocal effects. The most that she does on this album that I can determine is she layers her vocals to give it a thickness, but aside from that, there isn't a lot of vocal um, enhancements, and I really think that's great. I think that's something that too many people do these days. Post Malone's an example who does stuff like that. But there's other people out there, and you know who you are. Yeah. And I'm talking about you specifically. And don't worry, one day, maybe you'll hear an album where you're not using those effects. But you're not in this reaction, so let's not talk about you. Because you know who you are out there. But this album really just has an amazing feel to it. It moved me sitting here listening to it, and I just found myself at some points on the verge of tears, at some points just smiling, sort of in a sarcastic manner, at some of the lyrical phrasing and choices, as she really goes all out when it comes to the phrasing on this album and the delivery of the lyrics themselves. And any of the co-writers as well should be commended. But I know that she tends to write most of her lyrics herself. Musically, it is not what I expected as well as musically. It's really quite different from previous material I've heard from her. And yes, there are some tropes, but it is mostly really vintage or really original sounding musically. There's a diverse range of uh, dynamics musically. There's even some pretty um, nice, really intricate instrumentation, and even unexpected time change, which for a progressive rock fan like myself caught me off guard a little bit. But I was really impressed with that. So yeah, this is an album that I want to have this as part of my CD collection. In fact, I'm a fan of Taylor Swift enough that I really want to have all of her material. But uh, she is one of those few artists that is out there today that is massively successful, that really deserves the success that she has, and the attention that she is receiving is well earned. And I have to applaud her because there's not a lot of people out there with this caliber of talent, musically, lyrically, uh, vocally. She's got it all, and I really am impressed with this whole album and Taylor Swift as a whole. But this whole album, I highly recommend it. It is definitely an album to listen to and to have on your choice of CD, which I'd love to have to hold in my hand. I can say the artwork for the cover is beautiful. I'll show that right here. The I don't know about the rest of the artwork for the actual album itself. I don't have it to show it. I don't have the packaging to do a review on that. If I do obtain it, I will do a revised review. But for the meantime, I just wanted to give you this review and overview of the new Taylor Swift album, as it is amazing, and I recommend it highly. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.